Hey there, I thought I'd do a little comparison video on two fishing rods. Both of these are made by the excellent company Falcon. These are two of the more budget rods in their lineup. I think they're the cheapest rods that Falcon offers. Those being the EVO and the HD. Both of these run about $80. Just about anywhere you can get them, whether that be Falcon's website. I purchased the EVO at Fisherman Central, or the EVO at Walmart, and the HD at Fisherman Central in Franklin, Ohio. But you can find them, I believe most academies carry them. Maybe Bass Pro, just not the ones in my area. Overall, from what I've gathered, I purchased the EVO the HD yesterday. I've had the EVO for a little over a year. Which is why you can see the HD's cork is so light and the EVO looks a bit darker and worn. It's because it has been fished quite heavily and caught many things on it. Overall, I gotta say both of these rods are incredibly well made for the price point. I fished a lot of the sub $100 reels. I'm a broke college student, so getting a new fishing rod is a rare experience for me. And there's a reason why I've stuck with Falcons for this long. Partly is my exceptional bias towards cork fishing rods. I think they just look impeccable no matter what reels you put on them. Right here I have a Daiwa Tatula 200 HSL, and here's a Shimano SLX XT in the 8.2. But I fished pretty much every reel I own on the EVO, because there's nothing that doesn't look good on this rod. If you want to show off a reel and just make it look great, I would argue these are the two best rods for someone who wants to spend a little bit more than your Berkeley, like lightning rod or cherry wood. These are the two best rods to do it on. This is an Abu Ambassador 4600 C3, so it's like the early 2000s version of the Ambassador 2 or 4600, the narrow spool. This one's in great shape. I picked this up at a flea market, and it looks fantastic on these rods. It palms well. I have a bit larger hand, so a 200 size fits great in my hand. I don't have any issue with that. And palming a round reel on these rods is not an issue. I fish a lot of vintage reels. So like here is an impeccable Blues BB1, which is kind of like that first, not quite round, not quite low profile reel that was introduced. And the BB1 looks and fishes great on these rods. So I would say if you are looking to fish some older 70s, 80s, 90s reels, these they fish quite well on these rods. The EVO that I have is a medium heavy 7-foot 12 to 20 pound quarter to 3/4 ounce rod, and I use this for basically everything over the summer and into the fall. I, in a moment of short-sightedness, was even throwing 16-inch musky glides from Cast Cray Outdoors on it, and it did not break. And there is no sign of the torture that I put it through when I was doing that. I've not had a chance to fish the HD yet. The snow literally just melted yesterday and the ground is soaked, but there's still ice in all the reservoirs. But I have no doubt that this rod is capable of similar feats of stupidity. The particular HD that I have here is the 7-foot heavy action 12 to 25 pound 3/4 to 1 ounce rod, so I reckon this one will be marginally better at cranking or throwing larger lures. But that being said, I don't see it as being any less capable than the EVO. Overall build quality, the EVO seems to be just marginally nicer than the HD. There's like several just really small subtle points that I'll give to the EVO as far as like niceness of feel. First of all, if we look at the cork where it tapers into the buttstock, or into the, like where the butt tapers to the rod mount, both of these use Fuji rod mounts, or like reel mounts, and the eyes. There's no tapering at all. They just kind of stuck it there, whereas with the Evo, it's kind of nicely tapered and ground in, and then they glued it in nice. This one, just a little bit extra glue, looked slightly sloppier in the store. But as far as both of the full handles go, both these rods are offered with the full length, no split cork handle, which I adore. It's got this kind of composite cork, very dense, can't even get really a fingernail in there, rod butt, which I appreciate because there's been no disintegration, no delamination of the rod butt after a year of heavy use on this rod. It's got a small cork foregrip, which I appreciate because I feel like with some rods, for this example is my Abu Garcia Vendetta 7'3" heavy casting rod. I use this for primarily swim baits and larger cranks. This is a purely plastic handle, split grip with a nice metal butt plate at the end, but there's no foregrip here. So if you really are inclined, you can just unscrew the, heck, what do we call this? I'm blanking. I've been fishing for 15 years and I still don't know what that called. This screwy thingy can come right off and slide all the way to the first line guide if you're really inclined. So these just help it to keep your rod nice and controlled, and you can, that's a great spot to hold it if you're fighting fish. Another thing that I'd like to note is the hook hangers on both of these rods. This is just this is HD, very much the, I guess, generic, any rod you buy from Walmart, whether it be a Fluke or President, Berkley Lightning rod, Crush, the Lew's Crush rods, or the Mock Crush. I think they use that same kind of, it probably costs about 2 cents. All of the Chinese rods you'll pretty much end up buying have that same kind of hook hanger. It's nice and big, fits most sizes of the trebles. And then here on the HD, or on the Evo, shouldn't get two rods that look damn near exactly the same. It has this kind of hook hanger, which is great because you can put the hook both through it and then around it, and you can hold just about any kind of hooks on there. They've got this kind of epoxy like rash guard with the logos here on both of the rods, which I really appreciate because it keeps your blank from getting scratched up from hooks. The Evo's rash guard is slightly longer than that of the HD, and if for whatever reason you have an issue with any of your Falcon rods, you could check on their website, but basically you saw this section of the rod out. If there's a manufacturing defect on the rod, you just cut this section out, mail it in, and they'll send you a new rod. At least that's how it was earlier this year. I didn't have any manufacturing defects. The line guides on these rods are great on the Evo. I think it's more like their lowrider offering where the line guides are nice and small. All the way down. On the HD, you get a slightly larger line guide at the front, which I in hindsight, I think I would appreciate that more on the Evo, but I'm not sure if that's just overall quality or what. Falcon was kind of the first to pioneer low profile line guides on the rods. Like I think it was in the 90s when the lowrider came out, and it caused quite the stir because you had these low profile line guides that were just better for casting. Obviously the Evo has them all the way down. The first two on the HD are very much the, they have a little bit extra support to them. Some support coming in the front. Where the heck did that go? There, some support coming off the front, like it's that tripod line guide, whereas the Evo is that duo. Well, like I guess that one has a small tripod. But as you get forward, and this is I guess my kind of biggest complaint, I don't know if you can see here, but on the Evo, after a year of hard use, the line guide, whatever epoxy or glue they used to hold that in place, came undone. It's yellowed and cracked up, but that does not affect the functionality of the rod. I mean, so far. We'll see after another year of abuse whether or not that affects anything. And I guess the HD has the same kind of thing up here. I'm probably just gonna stick a dab of E6000 on that and call it good. But overall, I think both of these rods are tremendous options for those of you looking for a good, sharp-looking, kind of entry-level bait casting rod. It's not going to be a Dobbins or a St. Croix, but you can certainly punch well above your weight with these rods at the local pond. I've been fishing, like I said, on the Evo. I've thrown pretty much everything, but the things I've fished most consistently are a Shimano Bantam Curado, just the real old one from the 90s. It's a very solid reel. If you can pick one of these up for cheap, I highly recommend it. I think I got this one for 50 bucks from a flea market. I've also thrown a Tatula 200, as I mentioned before, but that one lives primarily on that Abu rod I've shown before, and I'll throw some larger lures on it. It has slightly larger line capacity. And then I purchased a SLX XT when it was on sale at the Fisherman's Central. I think it was on sale. I don't know. Early in the year, fabulous reel. Just a step up from the regular SLX. I fished one of those previously, and then so I picked up the XT just because I wanted to step up in control. But I fished that no problems. As far as line goes, I've put everything from, crappy Walmart Berkeley Tri-Lean on this rod, and it fished it no problem. All the way up to, I think, 50-pound braid is what I have on the XT. Talk about abuse. That was throwing frogs and frogging with a 7-foot rod. In my area, I don't like frogging with a 7-foot rod. I have a 6'6" medium heavy that I use for that. But the 7-footers handle it no problem. The 50-pound braid makes a horrendous noise when it's coming down the rod, but I think that's just the quality of the braid. My general go-to is 12 to 15 pound fluorocarbon or monofilament, and then I'll use 30-pound braid for larger lures and swim baits. Overall, I would say that if you can find either of these rods on sale, they're a fabulous pickup. Still a very competitive option at the normal price of $80. The price has not changed with any of the import tariffs from China. Both of these rods are China-made rods, but they fish just as well as any of the old Falcons that were made in the USA. Nope, tripod decided to give up. If I had to pick between one of the two as far as quality goes, I would pick the Evo, but the HD is still a very competitive option. Pick it up at your Academy Sports or wherever else you can find it. We'll have to see how another year of torture test goes. My rod lineup for this year, because you're only allowed to have 3 rods in the water in Ohio, is probably going to be the SLX XT on the HD, the Tatula on the Abu Vendetta, and then I have a 21 Scorpion DC that's going to go on the Evo. And we'll see how the DC reel goes on this nice long 7-foot rod. Both of these are great general purpose. Highly recommend you pick them up. Bye.